Hi, I'm Brandon Reyes with TrueBall Release and Excel Sights, and today I'm going to go over one of our most popular products in our sight line, and that's the AccuTouch sight. As you can see here, I've got the Carbon Pro version attached to my bow, and I'm going to explain to you how I set it up. I have chosen the AccuStat scope, which is a multi-pin version of the AccuTouch sight. My particular sight has 3 pins in it, as you can see here, and a cool feature that we offer to all our customers is the fact that you can get 3 or 5 or as many pins as you want and custom order them in different colors and sizes as well. I've got 3 10,000ths pins in my sight, and the way I set my sight up, that's pretty customary to the way most customers want it, is I first start by setting my 3 pins inside of the housing. And the first thing to do is to set your middle pin. As you can see in the housing, there is a void in the white ring, and that's where I like to set my middle pin. That particular pin for me is 30 yards. So I set it to where it's something that's very easy for me to remember, and by doing that, my pins are 20, 30, and 40. So once I set my middle pin for 30 yards, I use my gang adjustment to do so. And then when I go and set the 20 and 40 yard pin, in the back of the sight here, I use the micro adjust screw to adjust those pins and don't mess with the gang adjustments then. So now that I have my 20, 30, and 40 yard pins set, I'm going to set my long distance pins. In my case, you can set any one of your pins inside your housing as your moving pin. I like the bottom pin because it symbolizes to me that that's the farthest distance. So I use the bottom pin when I go and set my 50, 60, 70, 80 yard mark. So the way I continue on is, the nice thing about the AccuTouch is that it has all of these detents in the side. So you can use the detent clicks to represent your home base, which is going to be your 20, 30, and 40 yard mark, each resembled by the pin in your housing, and then drop the sight down to the next click or the next mark on your sight scale to resemble your 50 yard mark, 60 yard mark, 70 yard mark, 80, all the way down as far as you want to go. Well, you ask, well, how do you know how far to move it? What I would suggest doing is the sight comes with a white scale on the side that's plain white paper. You're going to mark a sight in a 50 yard mark, and then I always like to sight in like a longer mark, like an 80 yard mark. So once you go out to the range, you sight your 50 yard mark in and your 80 yard mark, you use the sight scales that come with the sight to line up those 50 and 80 yard marks. And that is the specific sight tape that's going to fit your bow. And if you come around and look at the sight scale, you can see that, my tape, the way I have trimmed my tape is so it's least confusing to me. So I marked my home base with a click, and then I go back down and I lock and mark every 10 yard distance with a click as well. And that's the really cool feature about this sight, is that you don't have to look necessarily at the sight tape to see where your pin is set, or your indicator pin, or your magnifier, depending on how you set it up. You can do it by feel, and a lot of us, when we're in the heat of the moment in a hunting situation, we want to get to that yardage mark as soon as possible. And then the nice thing with the 45-degree rear facing sight scale is that you can glance down at it and make sure that you're on your right mark. So once you set your sight scale and you've chosen the right one to match up with your 50 and 80 yard mark, you can see that I've taken my scale and I've actually stopped it at 40 yards, because there's no need for us to have a 20, 30 yard, 10 yard mark, because once we get to that home base at the 40 yard mark, it's the top of our sight scale. That tells me that all pins inside of my housing are set. So my 20, my 30, my 40 yard pin is set, and then from there on I can actually go down by using my bottom pin as my roving pin. I can set it at 45, 46, 47, 87, wherever I want to set it, and it's dead on. So this is the way I set my AccuTouch Carbon Pro sight up with a 5-pin or a 3-pin AccuStat scope. So if you have any more questions or need more information on the AccuTouch or any of our Excel site products, visit us at www.excelsites.com.